Ready?
Yeah, man. Go ahead, just introduce yourselves. What are yourself on the other phone?
Yeah.
You got to introduce it.
Yeah, well, my name is Ras IRV, and my brethren to the right,
As niggas.
my brethren
Ras
to the left.
Jabali.
Now, as ones and ones might know, that over the years, as Rastafari and I have been agitating for changes of the laws as it regards to ganja, cannabis, marijuana, whatever they might call it. Now, we have been agitating, and as you would know, in 2015, an amendment was made to the what them call them dangerous drugs law. For the first time in the history of Jamaica, the rights of Rastafari were recognized under the term of sacrament, claiming that we have right to herb to use it from a sacramental point of view. Now, there are a lot of gray areas within the amendment, especially as it pertains to Rastafari. And why I say that is that the amendment acknowledges I right to have herb in I possession. But at the same time, for example, I plant herb somewhere, some field, but then I have to move it from point A to point B, sometimes from the field to the home, to the Nyabingi center, or to wherever. And the fact that a policeman and a whole can, and women can, the security forces can always stop an eye. That went on for quite a time after the amendment until 2021. Even before, when it was said that Nzinga was trimmed by police at the Four Parts police station, and I got together in Kingston in July of 2021. We wrote letters to Brian Sykes, the Chief Justice, to the Minister of National Security, to the Commissioner of Police, to the Prime Minister, to the Minister of Justice. Anyway, in October, the Commissioner of Police came to the Pittsburgh Nyabingi Center in Granville, and a meeting was arranged with the National Security Minister on the 9th of December. In that meeting, it was agreed that we'll meet every 3 months, the Rastafari community representatives from the Rastafari community. And the National Security Ministry representatives will meet every 3 months. The March meeting did not take place, but we had a meeting, I think it was on the 22nd of June 2022. A meeting was then set for 2 days after that with the Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck. Now we've been having some discussion with him, and we've pointed out that our sacramental point of distribution must be recognized. Sometime Migos was charged, his place was raided by police, and he was charged for possession and dealing in. The case went on for quite a time until sometime this year, the judge claimed that she found Rasnigos guilty and was fined both for possession and dealing in. Sometime this year, my brethren Jabali Siba, the police raided his place, which is a business place, just like how Rasnigos place is a business place. Juices, fruit, other things, more Rastafari related. The case was thrown out on the basis that the judge said that Rastafari is not supposed to be charged for possession of herb. Now here are two cases. And one judge is saying the Rastaman not supposed to be charged. The other judge is charging the brethren and fining the brethren. I am not saying that there is an inconsistency in the law, how it is being carried out. And I don't want to know that things are left up to the discretion of the police or the discretion of judges whether they might find Rastafari guilty or not guilty. We are saying we are calling on the government to enact laws to protect, ensure, and guarantee the rights of Rastafari where herb is concerned. I have gone through a lot from the days of when you were caught the seed, or at least it was mandatory that you got to prison for 18 months. If having one conviction you were caught with a next seed or lease or have one plant, it was mandatory that you got to prison for 5 years. And I have gone through all of these things until 1972 when the laws were amended under Michael Manley administration. But to see Rastafari continuing to be experienced these harassment, just other day about 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, Mama Fireplace, which is in Portland, which is a Nyabingi Center. Nyabingi Center, a sacred space, was raided by police. So I'm asking if it's a matter that the police force, the government is targeting Rastafari business places to raid, to search, and to charge Rastafari brethren and sisters for possession or dealing with or dealing in ganja. We are calling on the government to make sure that just like how an amendment took place 2015, parliamentarily discussed and the laws were amended, I are calling on the government now that the laws must be enacted in such a way that there is no gray area. Like I said, it will not be left up to the discretion of police to arrest or not to arrest, and it will not be left up to the discretion of judges to fine or not to fine. In 2021, when I wrote to Brian Sykes, pointing out the ignorance, because we realize that there's a lot of ignorance amongst the judges, a lot of ignorance amongst the police, where the amendment to the dangerous drug laws are concerned. When we wrote to Brian Sykes, his response was, we are aware of the judicial system, and if there's a verdict that we don't like, the paper that we don't like, we can always appeal. I'm not saying that we can save the government time and money, and that can save Rastafari time, money, energy. We are calling on the government to enact laws to ensure and protect the rights of Rastafari, that I cannot be charged for possession or dealing with herb. You don't see we with 500 pound of herb, 100 pound of herb, pressed like we're exporting it. No. When we have herb for our congregational uses, for our individual uses, we want the government to enact laws that will protect I from the continuous harassment from the security forces that I have been going through all over these years. That's what I are here today dealing with.
Yes, sir.
So then that is in place now, just give you that protection with supplemental rights.
Come again.
The law in place now.
The law as it is, it states that Rastafari is not supposed to be charged for herb. But at the same time, you find a policeman will still charge a brethren of them on the streets in a vehicle, because that has happened to me. If you remember when I take my herb in Westmoreland, right, that has happened to the brethren, that has happened to a lot of Rastafari brethren and sisters. So what we are saying is that the grey area, it must be stated in a way that the police know for sure that the Rastaman not supposed to be charged for herb. And the judge is supposed to know that anytime the Rastaman come in his or her presence charged with herb, that the case is supposed to be thrown out. But rather than going all through all these things, they want the government to enact law that these things don't continue to happen. So if there's any question from the press, if there's anything that Migos would like to say, Jabali would like to say.
Yeah.
Just say it, man.
Say that.
Yeah. Well, concerning the laws, I swear the law already put in place concerning the right of Rastafari over 9 years now, because it's clearly stated that rule against possession of ganja do not apply to Rastafari. So in a time like now, after over 8 and 9 years now, within the process of the law, press conference, we soon call it forward.
And
come through And I swear in the system, adhering to the law concerning the judging of the court, and even the policeman at no point, even though at no point him don't know what go on based upon how the thing, because when this law put in place, them never really educate the police about the law and the Rastaman right. So it seems like we're not right when our right is here from 2015. So we're not seek them to put something really and surely in a law. We want them to overstand the Rastafari right and them to leave us alone. That I really my say concerning this. So we're looking at the whole thing we are going because anyone else did have them right. I check to them with a respect someone. But through Rasta being marginalized over the years, they've been looking down upon I and I from time to time. So the fact that we get this right at this time. And I know we said this time on know from 2015, the ones them really and surely them undermine us like what them always do over the years. Because Rasta been always so them call we dirty Rasta. We're underprivileged, so them look for we, so them not really want to see I and I have this right. But I and I are there, so I said the system must go straight across the board because a judge in a man to be a courthouse. Same fine and I guilty of possession of ganja when the law 8 years and added law a rule against possession of ganja do not apply to Rastafari. I don't know how credible that judge is.
How recent was that ruling?
That was in February.
February. And
My ruling was in what? September.
September.
Yes.
Just last month?
Just last month. So it, who
Yours was
conflicting?
last month.
Yes, who conflicting cases?
So months
So we want
after-
all Rastafari to be free from possession charges. Not just one Rasta or two Rasta or which Rasta. Yeah, we're saying we want all Rastafari to be free from possession charges, island wide. All Rastafari use her for sacramental purpose. Rastafari not burn her. And I use her for sacramental purpose. Stay close to the Almighty. So we want all Rastafari to be free from possession charges. Give thanks.
All right, this is a copy of the amendment, right? And I'm going to read from section 10. It said the rules against possession of ganja, as stated by Rasnigos. It said the rules against possession of ganja summarized at 7, 8, and 9 above do not apply to any of the following. 1. Possession of ganja for religious purposes as a sacrament in adherence to the Rastafari faith. 2. Possession of ganja for medical or therapeutic purposes as recommended or prescribed by a registered medical doctor. Possession of ganja for purposes of scientific research that is concluded by an accredited tertiary institution or is approved by the Scientific Research Council (SRC). Possession of ganja in pursuant to a license, authorization, or permit issued under the DDA. This is the 2015 amendment. This is not our word. This is what is in the amendment. But I'm saying out of our own experience, we realize that the police, not all the police are aware of what is said in the amendment, and not all the judges. So as such, we want it to be stated in a way that there is no mistake by the police, or it is not left up to the discretion of the police to charge or not to charge. We are asking that when these laws are amended, that they be posted in the police station, just like how the pictures of wanted people are posted in the police station. That means you cannot use ignorance as an excuse to say you didn't know. So these are the things that we are calling on the government to enact laws that there is no grey area. A next grey area, for example. It is said that you only, where the decriminalization process, the average Jamaican can have 2 ounces of herb in their possession. Not that they can't be charged. And I want this to be made clear. It's not a matter that they can't be charged. It is termed what? A non-arrestable offense. Just that no ticket book has been written yet. But it's not a matter that it is not an offense based on the amendment. Now, when you look, one herb plant, if a police go into the average Jamaican home and say 1 pound of herb, the police can charge him. But at the same time, the household is entitled to 5 plants. What if 1 plant can grow half pound of herb or can grow a pound of herb? And this man waiting in 5 plants of herb, it comes to 2 pound of herb or it comes to 1.5 pounds of herb. But the police can go inside there, he can lock him up for the 5 plants of herb, but he can lock him up for the 1.5 pounds of herb. These are things that need to be straightened out by the government to ensure the protection of I&I rights. It cannot be that things are left up to discretion of police and judges. I&I as Rastafari, we have borne too much for too long, and I think it's time that the government recognizes and respects I&I rights. The other aspect of the whole amendment that I personally and the Rastafari community is concerned with is that being a former member of the CLA, the Cannabis Licensing Authority Board of Directors, the traditional ganja farmers and the grassroots farmers and the Rastafari people are locked out of the so-called medical industry because financially I cannot afford it. Now, those very people who used to fight against Rastafari and ganja, they are the people who now are in possession of license that will enable them to benefit economically from ganja. Now, when you look at it, there was an AD program, an alternative development program. I personally, being a member of the board, said to the government at the time, do a rollout program rather than a 2 pilot program. These 2 pilot projects, one was for Orange Hill, one was for a compound in St. Elizabeth. None of these came to fruition. Until today, it is said that on the 17th and the 9th of January 2017, the Alternative Development Program was approved by Cabinet. Until now, it is yet to be implemented. So grassroots people, traditional ganja farmers, and Rastafari people are locked out of this industry that we have suffered for, that we have borne the brunt of the persecution, the battle licks, and the imprisonment to keep alive. But economically, we are locked out of this industry. We are calling on the government to make sure that there's a program, whether within the CLA or outside of the CLA, just like how it was planned with the AD program, that Rastafari and traditional grassroots ganja farmers can be involved in the industry and to benefit significantly economically, and not to be locked out because financially we cannot afford to participate at the CLA level. These are the things that Rastafari, we are calling on the government to do, to deal with. We don't want to be continuously at loggerheads with government, to be going out here in the street demonstrating, or to have to do these press conferences. These things need to be addressed, and to be addressed in the right and proper way, once and for all.
Rastafari live and reign. Yes, I.